isn't about red and blue. We can't boo people because they're Democrats and boo people because they're Republicans. Anyone who's willing to show change, no matter where they're from, anybody who's willing to start to make a difference is somebody we need on our side here. And this is about people who are for making a difference to save us and people who are against it and prefer money.
But the public has had enough. The kids have had enough. The teachers, the families, everybody. And although they aren't prepared right now, they better get prepared because change is coming.
I'm in awe and great admiration. It's reminiscent somewhat of the so-called Children's Crusade in Birmingham, Alabama, 1963, which was a bit of a tipping point for the civil rights movement. When the students, when young people from Birmingham and surrounding areas came, it was Children's Crusade. Well, I'm not calling this a Children's Crusade. This march could be a tipping point.
Senator Chris Murphy put it in a tweet the other day, they're coming.
There's one thing I want everybody here today to remember about this. We're just kids.
Are you ready for this fight? Like it or not, millions of Americans now have their hopes and dreams riding on your whole generation to push this through.
I think this is potentially a formidable new group of political activists here that could at least change the conversation. And that's what you have to do first, Willie, before you're going to get legislation.
Everybody thinks this isn't going to be them. It's never going to be them. And I think that's part of why people don't get out and be politically active. But I urge them to get out and do something about it. Call your congressman. Vote. Please, vote.
High schoolers on the verge of turning 18 are now pre-registering to vote. The Now's Nicole Grigg with the change that's coming.
Students across the country walking out of schools to make a statement in support of change. But students at King High School are walking in to pre-register to vote.
I mean, the real power lies in the vote.
Students can pre-register at 16.
I think most importantly, the world's changing.
Hundreds of students taking time out of the classroom using tablets to register to vote, as you can now do it online.
This is to every lawmaker out there. No longer can you take money from the NRA. No longer can you fly under the radar doing whatever it is that you want to do. Because we are coming after you. We are coming after every single one of you and demanding that you take action, demanding that you make a change.
They can walk around any question they want, but the more they don't act, the more they don't deserve to be in office.
No more. No more placing nonsensical politics above our lives. No more accepting donations from the NRA, who seem to care more about their right to own a gun than the lives of American children.
To everyone at the NRA and everyone affiliated with the NRA, we are not afraid of you. We will not be silenced by anything that you have to say. We are here, our voices are loud, and we're not stopping until change happens.
We're going to be doing a march in March on Washington, where we get students all over the country are going to be joining us. These kids are going to make this difference.
With the march, we want Americans to stop being afraid of demanding our politicians to take action. They work for us, we don't work for them. And the march is us. The march is us coming out and saying to our employees, you guys suck at your job.
Right.
And with the march, we want everyone to come out, bring their parents, bring their kids. Everybody in the nation is either a child or a former child. And that's what we want to do, is say, this isn't about red and blue, this is about protecting the kids.
And guys, look, this isn't about red and blue. We can't boo people because they're Democrats and boo people because they're Republicans. Anyone who's willing to show change, no matter where they're from, anybody who's willing to start to make a difference is somebody we need on our side here. And this is about people who are for making a difference to save us and people who are against it and prefer money.
They aren't prepared for what's coming. They can hide as long as they want, but they have to understand that the public has had enough. The kids have had enough. The teachers, the families, everybody, even Marco Rubio is talking about change. And although they aren't prepared right now, they better get prepared because change is coming.
Because this is more than just us. This is everybody in America. This is for every single kid who fears for their life. This
is more than Parkland. This is more than Florida. This is more than the United States. This is something serious. It is about human lives.
Politicians who sit in their gilded House and Senate seats funded by the NRA telling us nothing could have ever been done to prevent this, we call BS! They say that tougher gun laws do not decrease gun violence. We call BS! They say a good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun. We call BS! They say guns are just tools like knives that are as dangerous as cars. We call BS! No, they say that no laws could have been able to prevent the hundreds of senseless tragedies that have occurred. We call BS! That us kids don't know what we're talking about, that we're too young to understand how the government works. We call BS! If you agree, register to vote. Contact your local congresspeople. Give them a piece of your lives. To every politician who is taking donations from the NRA, shame on you.
I think there's a lot of reforms that I would be open to, but again, everybody's obsessing about the instrument. I want to solve the problem. We need solutions.
Why should any individual in Florida have an AR-15?
Why should they not?
Because they're used to kill multiple people very quickly.
Well, spoons are used to eat stuff and kill yourself with obesity, but we're not picking up spoons to get rid of obesity.
They're not used for mass murders.
I understand where you're coming from, and I wish that would solve your problem. It won't.
You know, Dana, in life, when you have a set of values which are loving our children or somebody else's children, sometimes you have to put yourself at risk. You put yourself at risk that you may not get reelected. But if you can move things forward in the name of peace in our country and you lose an election, we'll give you a badge and a crown. And you know what? There's not the end of the world because you lose an election. So everybody's got to look inside of themselves and think about their children and their grandchildren. And look, I'm not calling for some outright ban. I'm talking about small steps that can be taken that can be effective. And the Congress ought to do it. I don't have any confidence in them. I don't think most Americans do. Nobody's supporting them anymore on both sides. They're both broken. And we need to come together as a country because it is eroding us as a country. I was in the Congress. I never saw anything like what's happening down there. I was talking to our Attorney General the other day, who was a United States Senator. I said, there's dysfunctional. He just shook his head. He said, I've never seen anything like it.
Governor.
Do something.
We're still talking about the tactics, but clearly the overall goals have moved beyond just fixing in a minor way the current background check system, going beyond this baby steps to making some giant strides because clearly the country is demanding it.
We'll see. My mind is open. This is a very different moment. The public is demanding real action, and my hope is that the president will lead his party to the point where we can get something important and meaningful done.
The Parkland students have been incredible in their ability to prick the moral consciousness of our country and get more people to understand the urgency of this, and the urgency that, as a guy that lives in a city that understands that we have that urgency every day, as dozens of Americans every week are murdered, often with guns in the hands of criminals. So I'm grateful to them for the movement. I hope that they're really generating here a movement for change.
Elected officials should not fear the people that died in the building. They should fear the people who got out, because those are the people that are coming for them.
Could it have been prevented?
Oh, there's no doubt it could have been prevented.
Even in a state like Florida?
Could have been prevented.
Expanding access to guns?
This could have been prevented.
How?
Because everyone's been on notice. This didn't just happen. Okay, AR-15s and school shootings have been going on now for a decade. Everyone's been on notice. The fact that it came to Parkland, the safest city in the state, the most affluent town, the most highly educated town in Broward County, yeah, that's getting some notice. So that's slightly different. for the folks that are looking at this. But they've been on notice, okay? They've just not wanted to do anything. Let's be clear. The majority isn't going to ban guns, right? And they're not going to ban all sorts of things that I would like to see done, but they might limit it. So let's take the limitations. Let's get the limitations into statute. If they're willing to give an inch, I'm taking an inch. And then I'll go get another inch, and another, and another. I am not willing to squander the opportunity to do something, to change the laws, to change the conversation. We can rally for 8 months after that, up until the election. But in the meantime, we have a short window to change the statutes, to change the law, to make it more difficult.